Have you ever just wanted to chuck it all, sell everything, and move to an amazing exotic place like Bali or Fiji or Samoa? Well, that is exactly what the two guests that I have on today's Courageous Creatives did. Porras and Mandelynn Moses are now traveling nomads. They're international speakers and they're working on a retreat to help men and women remove the blockages from their soul, spirit, and life and manifest what they're truly meant to do. They tell me about how they're making this international travel work, what they did to set up this lifestyle, what their plans are for the year, and also both of their personal journeys to realize what they needed to do and the intuition that they needed to listen to become their best, highest, most badass selves. Stick around. Hi creatives, my name is Sky Lucking and I am the host of Courageous Creatives. This channel is all about elevating you to your highest self using inspiration, education, courage building, and community. And the interview I have today is a mix of all of those things in a beautiful package that is Porras and Mandelynn Moses. I met Paul when we were both approached by a startup that actually fizzled, but the best thing I got out of that experience was meeting Paul and experiencing his wonderful energy. He would lead hikes up to Camelback Mountain and have dance parties up there, and they are so amazing. And then I also met Mandelynn, and she is a metaphysical badass. She leads women and men in a path toward their highest, best self through manifestation, through removing obstacles and blocks to your own spirit. She is one of the most honest people, authentic people, spiritual people that I have encountered. She speaks her truth, and whatever that truth is, whether it is convenient or not, like, hey, you should move to Belize or Bali, or wherever it is that they happen to be right now. They are on a 10-country tour, stopping in places to swim with whale sharks, to have retreats, to have international speaking gigs. They are truly an awesome and amazing couple and so interesting. So, without further ado, let's hear it from Paul and Mandelynn Moses.
Mandelynn Moses?
Paul Porras?
Yeah, I was at the gym and I was done with my workout, and it's like June in Arizona, and I'm ready to leave the gym, and his dad follows me out to my car, and it's like I've already been at the gym for like an hour and a half, and he is talking my ear off outside for an hour and a half outside of my car. I was like, oh my gosh. It was so annoying, and
if you know my dad, you know that's
dad?
It.
Yeah. So, anyways, I had told him that I owned a business, and he was like, "Oh, you gotta get a hold of my son. He does marketing." And so my intention, because he wouldn't stop talking about it, so I was like, if I don't hit him up, I'm gonna meet this guy at the gym and I'll have to talk to him again. So if I hit him up, maybe I can get rid of him. So I found Paul on Instagram. Figured out, because I'd never messaged anybody on Instagram, so I'm trying to figure out how to message. And I was like, look, I just contacted your son. So thinking that I was never going to have to see his dad ever again. And then I did not know that I was going to be stuck with him for the rest of my life.
Like a genie, I appeared and I never left.
It backfired. So yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah, so within 5 months of us getting together and building a relationship, I got a call to play professional American football in Japan. And so we had a 6-month, very long distance relationship where I was, over 14 hours time difference. And so I'd be waking up when she was going to sleep, and it was just such a difficult time. But for us, it really expedited the process of our relationship. So the honeymoon phase was, that chapter closed quickly, but we really got into the meats and potatoes of the relationship, and we worked through a lot in those 6 months, and it really helped us grow together and individually. So it was a much needed time for us both, and Was it the easiest thing? No. Do I recommend that? No. But it was definitely, I wouldn't have it any other way.
What Paul wants in life?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I think it was funny because we kind of both talked about this. We were driving back from LA yesterday, and so we were talking about what it is that that we both want in life. And I think if I were to guess what Paul really wants in life is to really just get in alignment with what it is that he was really meant to do in this world, and to really start helping to influence other people. We were talking about like one of his biggest strengths is bringing out the best in people, like bringing out joy and happiness in others. And I think that right now, I think he's ready to do that on a large scale.
Yeah, one of the biggest things for her is creating a global impact and really leaving a legacy and a footprint on this planet that is, going to set up for future generations and future kids to look back at and see the path that she's created and help inspire other men and women to do what she's doing, and creating your own legacy, creating your own path. And the biggest goal that she has is creating schools around the world where very forward-thinking schools in early childhood, first and foremost, and building these schools around the world so we can create that ripple effect on a global scale. So I think that's one of the top things.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, 2018 was a doozy of a year. It was like one of the best years of my life, but then at the same time, the worst year of our lives as well. For us, one of the things that, for me, I've always wanted to live out of the country. It's just something that I've always wanted to do. And last year, we finally put that into action and did that. And I guess going back, we were talking about this yesterday again. It was like how the universe just is always conspiring with you for your highest goals, and you don't even know it. And back right, when was this? I think it was in 2017, 2016, my car got totaled. I was sitting at a complete stop, and some girl ran behind me and sandwiched my car in front of the car in front of me, and I was so upset about it. But my car ended up getting totaled, and it was really funny because the lady who totaled my car, her name was Shalom, which I thought was I've never heard a person named Shalom before. But little did I know that the universe was setting us up for something really big. It got me out of this car payment and this responsibility of the car, leading us up to last year. We were on vacation. I took my kids on vacation out of the country for the first time, and we were planning on moving to California. And I was looking around while we were on vacation, and I just looked at Paul and I said, why California? Like, we can live anywhere in the world and have a much better lifestyle than living in the United States. So it kind of got our wheels moving, and within like 3 months, I was on the treadmill at the gym one day, and I just heard a voice, and it said, move to Belize. And I was like, what? And I heard the voice again. It said, move to Belize. And I was like, okay, well, I guess it's time for me to revisit my goals anyways. And I went home and I got a big poster board, and I wrote on the top of it, and I said, move to Belize, September 1st. And I just said, okay, God, if that was you need to let me know what I need to do to make this happen. And within 3 weeks, everything was lined up. Like, all the money that we needed, everything that we needed was lined up for us to move to Belize. And so we just said yes to it. And
I didn't know where Belize was, first of all.
Yeah, when I told Paul this,
like,
this
Belize?
crazy, he's used to it for me because I live my life based off my intuition. So Paul has this blank face, what are we about to do next? But the thing is too is if I get those visions and those things, I have to listen to it. And so he was really scared at first, but I was like, I'm doing this with or without you. And so he got on board, and we ended up selling everything that we own, and most of it we just bought. Like that, everything that we had was like brand new. But yeah, we ended up moving and picking up and just moving our lives to Belize. So we committed to just being like location independent. So for the next several years, we're just traveling the world. And so last year was us becoming nomads, which was both of our ultimate dreams. So yeah, it was a good year last year.
Yes.
You know, again, like, I think Steve Jobs like really said it best. He said intuition is more valuable than intelligence, or intellect is what he said. And when you really follow your intuition and follow that higher calling, you don't ask questions, you just do it. And so people ask us all the time, how do you make this work? Like, how do you guys do this? And it was like, I just say yes. You know, when that higher calling comes to me, I say yes. And I trust that we're going to be taken care of in the process, no matter how scary that next jump is. You know, for me, when I heard that voice and I started to listen to it, I have 2 kids, and I was like, oh my gosh, I've never been away from my children before in my life. So how am I supposed to do this? And it was really hard. That moment, Paul captured this photo while we were in the airport, me saying goodbye to my kids, and it was the worst moment. I can't imagine anything being worse than that. It was so bad. But the magic that we've received and all the miracles we've received, just because I didn't question it or try and logically talk my way out of it, has been just, I can't even explain it. So when you get that higher calling or an opportunity presents yourself, you just say yes to it, and you don't ask questions. You just let it go. Yeah, no, that's a good question, because everybody asks, how do you guys make income? You know, the thing is again, this is something that's been stewing in my mind for years. This is something that I've been wanting for years. And when I had decided to start a business, I really looked at the kind of lifestyle I want. And the lifestyle I wanted was to be able to be a gypsy for the most part. So I designed my business to be able to support my nomadic lifestyle, so I'm not in just one place at one time, or that I have to be in a certain place. And that's the one thing I help my clients with as well. You got to reverse engineer your life, so all of your decisions are always in alignment with your higher goals, rather than just serving an immediate need. And so for me, I designed my business around the desired lifestyle I want, and so my business I'm able to do anywhere in the world as long as I have internet.
Which is sometimes difficult.
But as long as I have internet, I can generate income.
Yeah.
How about you, Paul?
Yeah, so going down this path, you know, Mandy, she started her business on her own, and I was just getting out of retiring from football and leaving the corporate world and the cubicle world and the solar industry. And I knew for a fact that I did not want to go back in that realm, because it was just completely draining my soul. And so for me, I definitely didn't want to do that. So I was really hesitant in getting a job again. And it just worked out where Mandy's income was able to support the both of us, until I started really sharpening my tools and understanding that I can actually contribute not only to her business, but create my own business and my own path. So when we first started traveling, I got really into learning how to create websites, do ad spending, really dove into social media and funneling leads to Mandy and our business together, and just getting the whole encompassing back end of the business. And so with that, now I'm able to focus on my direction, and because I already have the foundation set for the back end, now I'm building the confidence to step out and, you know, share my voice with the world, not just my dance videos. So
You really personify your intuition, speaking about the voices that speak to you and the conversations you have. So How did that develop? How did you become so in tune with this intuitive voice of yours? Was it from when you were a child, or did an event occur in life where you had an aha moment?
Yeah, that's a great question. You ask great questions.
Hey guys, really quick, I just wanted to say, if you like what you're hearing in this interview, hit the like button so I know that you're digging this kind of content. Also, if you are interested in inspiring, motivational interviews just like this one, go ahead and hit the subscribe button now. I have a lot of interviews that I've even already recorded. I just need to edit, and let's get back to the interview. Good stuff.
Yeah, so as a child, we all are. Like, every single one of us has the ability to be really in tune with our intuition. And especially as children, we're all so deeply connected spiritually. But then, we get trained by society to turn it off. And for me, I remember being a child, like being really in tune with it. And when I was younger, I called it deja vu. And it started, as I started getting into like the age of like 11 and 12, it started causing me like really big migraines. Like, I would get these visions and these memories, and it would cause bad migraines. And so I learned then to shut it off. And there was a situation in my life. It was, it was the lowest moment of my life. I was in a really bad relationship. And long story short, I was in a moment where I was just contemplating suicide. I was done with my life. And I remember going through the people that were in my life. I was like, okay, who can raise my kids for me after I leave? Because I was in a very abusive situation. And I just felt like if I stayed in the relationship, that my ex was going to end up taking my life. So I was like, I'm not going to give him that power. I'm going to take it. So I went through all the people in my life who could raise my kids, and I went through the situation. Came up with the deduction that I didn't want anybody to take care of my kids but myself. And so at that moment, I just was throwing a pity party, yelling at God, why don't you love me? Like, why do you hate me so much? And at that moment, I heard this voice, and this voice was very loud and powerful, and it said, because you allowed it. And again, it was like, what? And it came right here from my stomach. It said, because you allowed it. And that was like as an adult, my very first spiritual memory. At that moment, everything that happened to me over the last 15 years, I saw it played back in a different perspective. And then I came back from that experience. I was like, oh my gosh, I did. And so at that moment, I decided to take accountability for everything that happened to me in my life. And if there was ever a voice that I heard, because now I knew what that voice sounded like, I would always listen to it. So I developed the muscle in listening to that intuition and listening to that voice. And instead of allowing my mind to make decisions for me, I started listening to the voice. And so over the last 8 years, it's been a muscle that I've really been growing.
When we first started seeing each other just as friends, we went skating one day, and I just remember this like it was yesterday. She just told me about like her going to this spiritual church called Rising Phoenix down the street here, and it was a metaphysical church. And when I heard like metaphysics, I'm like, what is this? And then she just started talking about like mediums and psychics and like what she like went to. And for me, I was like, who's this crazy witch lady? And and that was like the first like real like out of the box thing. My whole life, I'm like this in my own little bubble, and never really venturing outside the forbidden area. And so for her, she just kept on chipping away at all the conditioning, all the layers that were built from society, my family. And it's till like really where I finally came out into really activating my soul was when we traveled out of the country and started living outside of the country, outside of the matrix, because that's where I was able to really remember who I am and really understand that this is just a vessel. Like this body is not me. My soul is in here, but knowing that this is just here, like I'm just living in the human experience, but my soul is here for a reason, and really awakening that inside of me was honestly, I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Mandy really helping me, guide me in the right direction. But it took me to like actually seizing the opportunity and taking action on it for me to really unveil myself. So.
Yeah, this year is a really awesome year. This year has been, it was so funny. It was like last year was a good year and a really challenging year. And this year has just been, man, I think this year we're going to be in 10 countries this year. So we started in Belize and Mexico, back to Belize, Guatemala, then we're off to the Philippines and Bali, and I got my first international speaking event, a women's empowerment conference in New Zealand. So I'll be in New Zealand, we'll be in Cambodia, Vietnam, Taiwan, and then I've got a friend that I'm visiting in Cyprus, so going to Cyprus. So this year we've got so much, we've got so much going on this year. And it's just, this year is super powerful. We've had such an amazing year so far. So
finally reaping what we've sowed, it's like we've been planting these seeds for so long and, really building this foundation. And it's time to really spread our wings and soar.
We just completed a retreat in Guatemala, which was really powerful. Worked with 12 really amazing leaders in Guatemala. And so we're going to do that again in Bali in October, and so this year is a good year. We get to knock off a bucket list trip. That's why we're going to the Philippines. We were supposed to go straight to Bali, but we've always wanted to swim with whale sharks, so a detour.
And manta rays jumping out of the water.
Yeah, so we're swimming with whale sharks. April 8th we fly out to go swim with whale sharks.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Yeah, there was, when I say like I unveiled myself, I was ready not only for physical change. Well, not only did I change my inner world, but I wanted to obviously show people that I've really changed my outer world. I shaved my beard for charity. It's the first time I see my face in 5 years. Changed my handle on Instagram because I'm completely changing my direction to fit with my purpose and, really serving the person that I'm becoming. So. Yeah, so with the retreats, I'm actually going to be helping in the retreats in areas with breakout sessions, and also I'm actually creating a men's circle, a global men's circle, where men can be more seen and more heard around the world. And so right now I'm reaching out to very successful men all over the world, and I'm creating a very sacred container where we can not only collaborate on ideas, but support each other in growing the collective consciousness. So that's something to look out for in the near future. So I'm really excited.
Very cool. Yeah, so my website is mandelynmoses.com, and everything's really easy. So Instagram is Mandelynn Moses and Facebook is Mandelynn Moses.
And my Facebook is Paul Porras. My Instagram is purely present Paul. Yeah, my YouTube is just Paul Porras, and my Twitter is PaulyPaul24.
I always like the dance parties. Thank you so much, Paul and Mandelynn. All of Paul and Mandelyn's information, their social media handles, and information about the talks that they're giving internationally and the retreat that they are going to be putting on in some amazing and exotic places. I think it's Bali, but I could be wrong. Check for sure in the description below. Like I said, if you like this kind of video, please hit the like button so I know I should do more with amazing, creative, traveling, nomadic people. And subscribe while you're at it for good times. I am so excited that you're here. I have more to come, and I can't wait to see you next time. Peace.